Hey everyone, it's Rockfish. I want to run through real quick with you how I rig up an anchovy for targeting salmon on the ocean. This type of rig works really well for Chinook and coho. It's going to be a lot of coho this year, and I've done really well with this rig with coho. So here we go. This is a anchovy. This is just a store-bought anchovy. Still a little bit thawed, or still a little bit frozen here, but this is a Sure Spin. This size is medium, and that's about as big as I'll ever go for fishing on the ocean, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Behind that I have two 2/0 Gamakatsu Big River Bait hooks. These are tied up with 30-pound monofilament leader. And I need to take a Dremel tool to these hooks because we need to be barbless when we're fishing out in the ocean. These are spaced about 4 fingers apart, basically how I like them, because the goal here that I like to do, I like to put this top hook right sort of in the top of the middle of the fish, and then I like to have the back hook sitting just past the tail. And we'll get that rigged up here and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so first thing, we're going to go ahead and plug cut this guy. Yeah, obviously not a great cut there, but don't throw this away. We can use that to stuff it for plastic baits a little bit later if you want to. If you run out of bait because of a hot coho bite. Okay, so there we have a plug cut bait. All we'll do now is we will slip that guy into the Sure Spin cap nice and snug. I will take a toothpick and we'll run this toothpick right through to get through both of the holes. That's good enough. Snip off these ends. Save this piece right here because you can use it rigging up your next one. Now between the Sure Spin and the hooks, tied a bobber stop with sturgeon leader. This is like, I don't know, 150-pound Dacron, something like that. I'll slide it up pretty far. Like I said, I like to go about in the middle of the fish with this first hook. Oops, that's the second hook. Okay. And I want to get it so it lays down with the point facing towards the Sure Spin, so this meat on these things is super soft, so you want to be careful with it. This other one, I'm going to pin this right through the tail. Pull off that scale here. So now I have my hooks placed. Now I'm just going to cinch down the bobber stop real carefully until I take out the slack on that line. Okay. So there we go. You can see that hook sits just behind the tail, maybe even a little long, but that's fine. This leader, I like to tie mine about 18 to 20 inches, maybe a little bit longer, but because I like to run these behind the wide roll flashers, similar to this guy right here, if you go any closer than about 18 inches, you might mess up the action of the flasher. Okay. All my wide roll flashers, I have tied a breakaway setup. I found that this dramatically improves the hook up to fish in the boat ratio for me, so that's what I've been doing. I have a swivel tied to the top attachment point of the flasher, right? This is 50-pound leader material, you could even go bigger. And then I have a twist tie at the end of the flasher, and I just wrap the twist tie around this part once. And when the salmon pulls on it, it comes free. You'll notice this leader is tied just a few inches longer than the flasher. That's really important. It needs to be at least an inch or two longer than the flasher in order for it to work properly, or else it won't pull away. Okay. So I just pin this on here and run this behind the flasher. Now the reason I mentioned that I use a medium-sized surespin is because, well, you don't really need that much bigger than that for an anchovy. But also, if you use any bigger than that, it might mess up the action of the flasher. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already, but that's very important. So medium or smaller for the Dick surespins, in my experience. That's what I've noticed. If I want to lengthen up the leader a little bit here, I have a bunch of these pre-tied leaders sections, right, with a swivel on one end, a clip on the other, so I can really just lengthen up my leader if I really want to. Real quick and easy. I don't need to retie anything, so I can make it up as long as I want, really, in that way. And then there's my bait.